Mississippi Road, Mississippi Road.
This is the Old South Winery, located in Natchez, Mississippi, and we make mostly muscadine wine, as well as we have a blueberry wine, and we've been in business since 1979. It is a family business. My parents started the winery, and so I grew up doing this, and me and my sister are carrying on the tradition.
Since we are a small business, everybody does everything. My brother is the winemaker, and then I pretty much, and the bookkeeper and owner, and so I handle everything else. It was a big secret most of my adult life, my whole life growing up. But I found out when Dad was getting ready to get in the wine business that he had learned how to make wine with his grandmother, which would be my great-grandmother, right across the street when he was a teenager.
You didn't go to town to buy a bottle of wine. You either had to make it if you were going to get it or you didn't get it. Well, that's what grandmother did. And so when I got the driver's license, about 15 years old, she told me, said, I'm going to show you something. And so we went over and picked some muscadines. She just knew what time of the year they were getting ripe. We went over there and picked the muscadines and came back and made wine.
Actually, Dad was supposed to start in 1978. Now you have to remember, Prohibition ended in 1966. And so that really isn't that many years to go from absolutely no alcohol in a state to having like 5 wineries set up. He would have started in 78, but there was a longshoreman strike in New Orleans, and the press was on the dock and they wouldn't unload it, and so the season went past, and so we had to wait a year.
So when they passed the native wine law, Dad, he loved muscadines and he loved muscadine wine, and he decided that he would open up a muscadine winery.
When we started making the wine here at the winery, for 6 years after we started, we couldn't put a sign outside that said we had a winery inside the building. The law said it was against the law to advertise alcoholic beverages even by the word of mouth outside your establishment.
And 6 years later, we could finally tell somebody we had a winery and that we sold wine.
Winemaking is probably not all that glamorous. It's a lot of work. The muscadines are harvested in August through September. The harvest season, it's really hot and it's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, when the fruit is ready to be picked, no matter what's going on, you have to harvest the fruit and then you have to make the wine. I mean, just about everything else has to wait. We have a machine that breaks open the skin of the fruit. It doesn't actually crush the seed. And the crushed fruit is then poured over into, we have 2 presses that hold about 3 tons each, and the presses squeeze out the juice. The juice is then pumped into our stainless steel fermentation tanks, where the temperature, when we drop the temperature of the juice down to about 55 degrees, and then commercial winemaking yeast are added. The juice ferments for about 8 weeks, but it stays in the tanks 5 to 6 months before it's ready to be bottled. We bottle the wine off and on about 40 days out of the year. After the wine is bottled, it ages for about maybe a month or 2 in the bottle, and then it's ready to be sold.
We can't grow grapes, but the muscadine is a wild berry that just grows around here all the time. They've been making wine out of it for hundreds of years.
We use different bronze skin varieties as well as different purple skin varieties. We produce dry wines, semi-sweet, as well as sweet wines.
We have all different colors, white, red, and rosé. And then, of course, blueberry is in a class all by itself. Miss Scarlet is our #1 seller. It tastes the most like white Zinfandel. White Zinfandel kind of goes with anything or nothing at all.
I've never really tried muscadine wine before, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but it's been very, very good.
That's really good.
And we've tried 4 different wines, and I have liked all of them so far.
Wine is different because wine is made from fruit. You know, the wine it's still alive in the bottle. It's still changing.
Wine was blessed by God. That's what makes the difference between wine and beer and liquor.
I believe Jesus certainly blessed wine. Well, his first miracle was turning water into wine. I mean, that's a pretty big statement right there.
And wine has very powerful tranquilizers in it. It's not the alcohol that's tranquilizing to you. There are other things in wine to calm your nerves. So when you come in from work, drink some wine, relax, and don't scream at your family. You know, it's a big de-stressor. So I think that is one of the big differences between wine and other alcoholic beverages.
When you get a glass of wine or something like that, it relaxes you. It doesn't intoxicate you near as much as it just totally relaxes your body. And that relaxation is really what's real good for you.
Dr. Scott Galbraith Jr. was always intrigued by the medicinal value of muscadine wine, but he furthered his studies in the early 90s after his wife suffered 3 heart attacks in the course of 6 years.
I called Dr. Leroy Creasy at Cornell, and I asked him would he check our muscadine wine. And so I sent it to him. He said he would. And about a month later, he said, man, this stuff's better than the Bordeaux.
Since we knew that the wine was good for your health, we found out that most of the antioxidants are in the skins and the seeds of muscadines, and that the wine was getting only a fraction of them. So we began developing our nutritional supplement, which is called New You.
And we named it New You because that's what it does. It makes you just feel and prevents so many things that you'll never know because the muscadine is 4 times better for you than grapes.
The Galbraith's New You formula has since been a testimonial to their good health, as well as thousands of others who've tried their product.
Neither one of us have cancer, and we're doing pretty good. He's 83 and I'm 80. And so many people have just come from states around to thank him because they had completely changed their lives.
So after overcoming setbacks and the end of Mississippi's Prohibition era, and the family turning what could have been tragedy into prosperity, the Galbraiths are looking forward to a happy and healthy future.
I hope that we can continue to make a living at doing something that we enjoy doing.
I hope it will continue to help people because that's definitely what it does. And more people understanding how good wine is for them now. You have a little wine and take some New and you'll be much better for it.
For a copy of this program, call 601-432-6294 or send a check or money order for $14.95 to Mississippi Public Broadcasting, 3825 Ridgewood Road, Jackson, Mississippi, 39211. Please indicate the name and date of the program.